Today I am going to be going over a ribbon tutorial called Teardrop Ribbon Embellishment. It's a really sexy ribbon. It gives a very shapely hourglass figure to your ribbon, and it can be applied to the edge of draperies for like a leading edge. You can actually even curve it on the drapery and make some sort of a motif. You can use it on pillows. You could also use it on slip covers or even a cornice. The possibilities are really endless. What you'll need for this method is satin ribbon. Satin ribbon works really well to capture the light on the teardrop ribbon embellishment. And I've tried it with grosgrain ribbon. It does not work well. So I strongly suggest you use satin ribbon. Typically what you'll want to use for any ribbon embellishment that you're marking is an erasable fabric marker. But for this method, we're going to be using the Sharpie marker so that you can see it really well. You will need a hand sewing thread, scissors, pins, and wax covered thread. For my unit of measurement, I use a width of the ribbon, and as you can see, the ribbon is going north to south this way. And I'm using the ribbon piece that I cut. We're going to go east to west. This is going to be my unit of measurement as we mark the entire length of ribbon. Starting from the bottom, I'm going to use the marker and just mark all 4 points as so. And moving my way up. So I'm just marking in the center of each of the 4 squares, or each of the 4 points that I made. And then the length between the center dots is again the ribbon width. But you can usually eyeball this, so you don't necessarily have to use that. And it makes that center point really quick. Using a double thread tied at the bottom, there's a long tail. Be sure to cut it off with your scissors. Just gonna take off my pins from the bottom, and just so that I have a handle to start or to hold on to at the very bottom, I'm not gonna start at the very bottom. I'm just gonna kind of go up here a little bit. Starting on the left-hand side, inside the ribbon, going to go all the way through, so my knot's right there, and then going on the outside, on the side opposite, I pull the 2 together. Now I want to lock these into place, so I'm going to go back through the other side on the left and pull tightly. Now I'm going to bite at that center point that I made. We're going to pull that down, and we need to lock that into place with the first lock stitch that we made. So we're just going to go back through like so. And that's how we're starting it off. Just a little tip to make it easier. you can use a couple of pins to hold it down on the edge that you begin with, just so that it's not in your way as you're starting the process. Now we're going to repeat the same directions from before. So biting in the innermost portion on the left side. But the only difference with this stitch is we don't want to pull it tight. We want to go over to the right hand side. And we want this thread, this double thread that attaches, it's kind of a chain from here to here. We want that to stay long. That's going to lock our teardrop embellishment into place. Now going back and locking it again, just like we did before. So again, we have that chain right there. We're going to bite that center and we're going to pull it tight and lock it into place like so. So here you can see how it's starting. So you repeat that. Sometimes they come a little bit loose. If they do, just pull it tight again. You can also go through and lock it an additional time if it's a little bit loose. So we're going to go left, right, leaving that chain, locking it into place, and then biting the center again. And locking it into place. So again, do a left, right, and lock that into place. Again, making sure that we have that chain all the way down. To finish it off, we bite the center, pull it down, lock it one more time. I've now run out of thread. I can use my scissors and go in between the two threads and just give it a snip. Remove my needle and then just tie off the two loose ends into a couple of double knots just to hold it into place. And then I'm going to start off stitching at the same point that I left off from, right there. I threaded the needle again, double thread, knot at the end, and then I'm just starting over, biting the left, the right, and locking it into place, just as I did before. This is the top of my panel. This is the bottom. I'm going to apply the ribbon in a downward motion or a downward orientation on the leading edge of the panel. Now, I strongly suggest that you make sure that you have more than enough ribbon, completed ribbon, for your project. And this, you can see, is about length and a half of the panel length. When I was cutting this out, it was three times the length. And as you can see here, it ended up being about length and a half. So this will give me plenty of ribbon, finished ribbon, to wrap around to the back side to secure it properly. And I'm going to hand sew this. What you can do is pin it in place to determine how far away from the leading edge that you'd like it. Pin it into place, and then just ever so slightly with your Silamine thread, wax covered thread, stitch it into place. It's very important you don't use glue for this. Don't glue baste it. The glue tends to stiffen it a little bit on the edges, and it works a lot better if you just take your time and hand sew it, and you get a really nice embellishment.